Attorneys for an IRS whistleblower who claims to have information about political interference in the Hunter Biden criminal investigation says their client has been removed from the probe into the president's son. NewsNation's Blake Berman joins us from the White House with what he has learned on this. Hi, Blake.
Leland, I don't need video or sound bites to talk about this one either, by the way, because this just involves a letter. So we could show you the graphic here momentarily, but it does involve some pretty serious allegations. On the one hand, as it relates to the Hunter Biden investigation into his taxes. And then on the other hand, of course, the idea that whistleblowers should be protected, something that Democrats and Republicans all across D.C. have believed for years. Now, as it relates to the attorneys in this case, they have produced a letter to Congress, put it forward yesterday, and said that they represent a whistleblower, essentially their client, though they don't necessarily name check the individual or the case, was on the Hunter Biden case into his taxes. And they say their client, along with the entire team involved with that case, has been pulled off of the case. And they say, according to their client, it was the Department of Justice who asked for that to occur. So here's part of the letter. If we have it, I want to show it and put it up on the screen real quick. They write to Congress, quote, removing the experienced investigators who have worked this case for years and are now the subject matter experts is exactly the sort of issue our client intended to blow the whistle on to begin with. Now, they also highlight the head of the IRS, Daniel Werfel, who happened to be up on Capitol Hill a few weeks ago, April 23rd, testifying, saying that his agency will not retaliate against whistleblowers. Republicans on the House Ways and Means Committee are fearful that this is exactly what has occurred in this case. They said in a statement, quote, not only does retaliation like this discourage whistleblowers, it can also rise to the level of an illegal violation of statutory protections for whistleblowers. So bottom line here, Leland, as it relates to what exactly others are saying in Washington, we've reached out to the White House, reached out to the IRS. No comment from them. We did also reach out to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Delaware. That, of course, is the group that is overseeing the investigation into Hunter Biden and his finances, his taxes. They did not, they declined to comment on the many questions we had involving this one. Leland?
Yeah, a lot of questions about this, and then also the whistleblower that Republicans seem to have lost track of over the weekend. Blake Berman, thank you very much. Back with the panel now. Heidi, as you talk to the more sane Republicans on this, at what point do they feel like they need to present something real rather than, and admittedly it's been a lot, but a lot of smoke so far to get from Hunter Biden to Joe Biden?
Well, this has been a lot of the agenda was these investigations. And Comer had promised in the very beginning that there would be some kind of a connection between Hunter Biden's alleged misdealings and the president. It appears that that ship has sailed. It appears that there are not receipts to that extent. And so at a certain point, they're going to have to decide whether to keep going down this road with what looks like just to be an investigation of Hunter Biden's, the son of the president, instead of the president. And so to your question, I do think some of the, in your words, saner Republicans are going to be behind the scenes lobbying to kind of wrap this up and focus on some of the more substantive stuff like the Afghanistan investigation and some of the other topics that the other committees are looking at.
Well, I mean, I would argue that some of this is very substantive. I mean, some of these accusations are that it was, in fact, Hunter Biden's ties to his powerful father, where he was receiving these foreign-sourced income, and that's what he wasn't paying taxes on. So there is clearly a public interest here of corruption, and that is what is being implied here, heavily implied. And it doesn't smell great that the Department of Justice would remove these subject matter experts. Of course, we need to learn more about it, but it doesn't do a whole lot for giving trust to the American people about the impartiality of the Department of Justice.
That's what I was going to say. The biggest problem with this, and the White House, the IRS, they need to respond quickly because distrust is at an all-time low in our institutions. And that is scary because the freedoms and those things that we take for granted, they're at risk when we start throwing them into jeopardy because we want to go after our political enemies.
And I think the biggest question I have as someone who covers campaigns is how does this play out on the trail, and are Republicans at all nervous that if this is everything that's coming out of Capitol Hill, focus solely on Hunter Biden. We see the president traveling with his son, not backing away with the son from his son. Do you think, is there this feeling that voters are going to be turned off by Republicans focusing on Hunter Biden and not focusing on some of these other issues, like even Afghanistan?
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.